when you're not there teaching him how to do certain things, or you're not emotionally available for him, I don't think you realize the effect that will have on him for the rest of his life. Yo, what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the From Boys to Men show. I'm your host, Leighton Cook, and today we got a really awesome episode for you, and it is the topic of making men strong again. There's I don't know about pandemic, but definitely an epidemic across the nation of weak men nowadays, and have been weakened mentally, physically. I actually saw a picture the other day. It was a meme. Actually, I don't even know if it was, because there was no joke about it, so maybe it wasn't a meme per se, but it was a picture of PE class today in 2023, and the boys look soft and they have guts, and they just look horrible, man. They're out of shape, right? And then there's a picture of young men in high school in the 60s. These kids look jacked. They're like grown men. They look like a grown man. They're all jacked and they look peeled, and they're fit and in shape. And they look bigger. They look like I said, grown men in high school. It's just crazy the difference. And so there's definitely been a decline in, I guess, traditionally what we see as masculine and strength over time. And so we're going to talk about that, making men strong again. So there's a quote that I'm sure all of you guys have heard, but I'm going to say it anyways. Hard times create strong men create good times create weak men, and weak men create hard times. Now, I bring that quote up because I think the same can be true for if you replace the word times with men. So if you say hard and tough men make more strong men, I think that's also the case. And if you're hanging around guys that are soft and have no core values or weak core values, they sleep in until 10:30. For hell, I would even say sleeping until 9 o'clock. That's unacceptable. It's too late. You need to wake up early before the sun gets up. You need to take care of your body. You need to learn how to properly court a woman. You need to learn how to, move as a man, right? These guys are walking around with hunchbacks, and they just look like weak. So anyways, let's talk about it. And I have a story for you guys. I have an example of what this can do, hanging around another man who's in his masculine, what it can do to help you. And this story came to mind when I was thinking about this episode, and it was back when I used to visit my dad in prison. And not just a typical visit where you'd go and you'd spend the day over there, right? Maybe a couple hours. You go and hang out in this public area where the other inmates are with their families, and there's like a vending machine, and you just kind of have snacks and hang out and whatnot for a couple hours, and you go home. This is different. This was a conjugal visit, and the conjugal visit is where you get to go and you get to spend the weekend literally in the prison. You're kind of like, what does that look like? You sleep on the hard mattress and like the brick, pillow, and with the other inmates. Like, what does it look like? No, there's actually a trailer like area away from the rest of the inmates and from away from the yard, gated and fenced off, and you can spend the weekend in that trailer with your dad, your uncle, whoever else is in the prison, right? And so we used to do that from time to time. And I would be lying if I said that I was always excited to go, because at that age, I was maybe 7, 8, 9 years old when I was going pretty consistently. I was selfish, right? Being a selfish kid where I was like, I don't want to go. I'd rather play with my friends on the weekend. Like, I'm not trying to go to the prison and hang out in there. Like, that's just not for me, right? And really it was a mask for trying to protect myself from what I would feel when I would go. I'd have a great time, but then also it was sad to see my dad in this place, right? But I was always happy that I ended up going. So anyways, this one specific weekend I went on this visit, and my mom would stay there with me, of course, as well. And we would just hang out as a family, right? For once in our lives, we got to be together and hang out as a family and enjoy a weekend together. Now, what this would look like was you pull up to the prison. You have to show them your bags and make sure you don't have certain things, and that you're basically they got to check your bags and make sure you're following proper protocol. You go in there, and my dad is already in the trailer, making sure things are clean, from the last family, and that the food order was done properly and whatnot. Because the awesome thing too was that you got to order whatever food you wanted, right? So this was a treat for him because he's not used to this kind of food and getting to eat all this junk food and ice cream and pizza and order whatever you want. But I wasn't either, because my mom, I grew up an organic kid. My mom was always like, hey, we're shopping at, it wasn't even Sprouts back then, it was Henry's. I don't even know if you guys know what Henry's is, but before it was Sprouts, the organic food, the food chain, it was Henry's. And so grew up on Henry snacks. So it wasn't Pop-Tarts, it was like these weird, I don't even know, they were like organic, hard brick freaking Pop-Tarts. So anyways, I was excited to go on this visit just for that alone, because I was like, man, I get to hang out with my dad and I get to eat whatever I want. Let's get it. So anyways, my dad's in there making sure the trailer's, spick and span, nice and clean. And obviously I open the front door. I'm excited to see him. I run and jump on him and greet him with excitement. He's obviously excited to see me. He hugs my mom, and we're one big happy family in this house. Now, this was Friday, the first day when I got to see him. Awesome time. In fact, the trailer was a 2-bedroom trailer, and so each bedroom had a bed, of course, in it. But we didn't sleep in the beds like in their specific rooms. We drag the mattresses down the hallway and then lay them out in the living room, and we just have a living room full of just covered with mattresses, and we'd wrestle and we'd fight and we'd sleep there. And so everything happened in the living room. We didn't want to be apart for any 1 second while I was there on that visit. And so it was awesome times, right? We would get to like I said, wrestle and fight, roughhouse, and talk about, things that I was going through. And he had a chance to actually guide me and have tough conversations with me. And then naturally, when she would fall asleep on the couch next to us, we would still be up talking and have more vulnerable moments when she was asleep. And so it was awesome to be able to connect with him in that way. Now, day 2 comes, Saturday, a full day of getting to hang out with him. And Saturdays, oftentimes we go outside, which really wasn't that much of a space or a yard, but we get to go outside and we'd run around the trailer and wrestle outside again some more and see who can get from one end of the space to the other side. We have foot races and do all this stuff together, right? Everything that a boy could ask for, right? Just hanging out with your dad. And so it was another awesome, fun day. Now, Sunday came and it was a different energy because Sunday meant that we were going home, right? We just had an awesome Friday and Saturday. But now we come to Sunday, and it's a different energy. It's no longer we wake up and we have a full day to hang out together. Now we have maybe 2 hours to be with each other, and that whole 2 hours is really taken up by making sure we can clean the trailer and make sure it's up to their standards. And so you got to clean and get ready for the next family. And so there's not much playing around. It's a lot different. So you're dragging the mattresses back in the room, and you're putting everything back and wiping the floors down and making sure there's no dust in the cabinets or whatever the case is, just trying to find things to clean. Because when they come in, the correctional officer will come in and inspect the house. And if he sees anything that's wrong or dirty, then my dad will get in trouble for it. So we're making sure everything is taken care of, trying to keep it together and not be sad, like let the sad feeling come out like we feel on the inside. And so we finish up cleaning, and it's time to go. It's time to say goodbye. And so the correctional officer comes in. You can hear the gate outside of the trailer opening up, which means that they're obviously driving the van in to come pick us up to take us back home. And you kind of look at your dad. I look at my dad, and I'm bummed. I got to say goodbye yet again. And so we hug, say goodbye again. The correctional officer, it was kind of like, hey, all right, let's go. Time to go. Like, they don't have any emotion. Like, dude, let's go. I'm just doing my job. I got to get paid. Let's go. Hurry it up. So we leave. They help us pack our bags and throw them in the van. My dad helps out with whatever he needs to and packing up and make sure he goes with the other correctional officer to check the different rooms and have a clipboard, making sure everything is up to their standards. And then I say bye one more time. We get in the van, we get in the car, and then they take us off, right? And so how it works is, what it looks like anyways, is they're within that area with the trailer in it. There's like 3 or 4 gates surrounding that area as well. And so when we get in the car, the first gate opens, and then we drive through that one. And right after we drive through that one, it's almost like the back tires get over that line, and then immediately that gate closes behind us. And then we got to wait for the next gate to open up in front of us. We drive through that area, and then once we get over that gate, then the gate closes immediately behind us again, and then so on and so forth. And now, so it's a slow process leaving leaving the prison, right? Because you got to drive a ways to actually get out of there and get back to the main area where your cars are. And so the whole way leaving that place, I would look out the back window and I would watch my dad, and the whole way when I was driving out each gate, it was just like, it just felt like it was taking forever, right? Each layer, or each, I guess you could say layer, I was just looking at him out the back window, and he would just wave the whole way. He would wave from the very beginning, once we first got in the car, all the way, and he'd watch us until he was like a little dot, and he would just wave, and it was tough for me. It was really tough for me. Oftentimes, I would just lean on my mom and I would just cry the whole way back. And even recounting this story right now, it gives me this lump in my throat, because now, being a grown man, having a whole family, got a beautiful wife, beautiful daughters, son on the way, live in a nice house, just got a new car, have an awesome relationship with my dad now that he's home. We're best friends. We talk all the time. There's really nothing to be sad about. But still, thinking about that story it shrinks me. It makes me feel like that little boy again, and how tough it was. And I don't know if I'll ever get past that feeling. I think it'll probably be like this forever. It's safe to say that when I recount stories like this, that it will make me feel like the little boy again. And this is what you got to think about, guys, dads specifically, because I don't think you really realize when you're not showing up for your son in this way, when you're not active in his life, when you're not present, when you're not there teaching him how to do certain things, or you're not emotionally available for him. I don't think you realize the effect that will have on him for the rest of his life. Even when things are great, it's something that I can't even put into words sometimes. I can't even explain how painful those times were, having to watch him, like I said, turn into this little dot way far in the distance, and I would be separated from him yet again. And so it pained me to go through this situation. I often used to ask myself and ask, just why would this happen to me? Like, why was this happening to me? Why did I have to be the one that didn't have my dad when everyone on the street had their dad? And, why when in elementary school, when we had to make Father's Day presents, everyone else is excited they're making their Father's Day gifts because they know that they are going to be going home to give it to their dad. And I'm kind of making my Father's Day gift to kind of put in a box and put in a closet somewhere, because I know there's no way I can give it to him. Like, why was this happening to me? Now, the thing that you guys have to realize is it's not enough to just be there in the house with your son. You have to be there in multiple different ways. And actually, a stat for you guys is, even for children with fathers in their house and present in the home, the average school-age boy only spends about 30 minutes per week in one-on-one conversations with his father. Conversely, the same little boy, on average, will spend about 44 hours a week playing video games, on social media, and surfing the internet. And when I read that stat, it's insane to me, the fact that you can have this opportunity to have a mini version of you in the house. Like, you have your son, you have your kids, and you're not pouring into them. You're just allowing them to kind of navigate their own way through life and figure things out. I think if we did better at leaning on our ability and the opportunity that we have to be parents and be fathers, that we can help make the next generation much stronger. I think that's a big issue, and why men are so weak nowadays, because they didn't have their fathers to show them how to be strong men. I'll give you an example. One part of the story in the conjugal visit that I didn't mention was, I remember this particular moment like it was yesterday, vivid color. I remember sitting at the dinner table with my dad. My mom was sitting on the couch watching TV, and we were hanging out eating chicken wings. If you remember the brand, it was called Hungry Man. It was like a brand of TV dinners. My dad loved that food, and so it was spicy hot wings that he ordered, and he was tearing those things up. And I watched him like, man, this is crazy. This dude's going in, right? He's going to town. And I'm looking at him because I don't like spicy foods like that. So I'm like, you're good. You can have it. He's like, nah, come on, try it. Like, you're not even going to try it? And I remember trying the hot wing, and I basically like it's almost like toe dip when you put your toe in the pool to like test it out. I put my tongue on it, took a little nibble, and my mouth was on fire. I was like, oh, hell no, I'm not eating this hot wing, right? And he laughed. He's like, man, if you don't stop being a little punk and just eat it, it's fine, right? Laughing, whatever. And it was funny that just the comfort of him laughing and making it kind of like a joke, like, don't be a punk, dude, just eat it, right? Ate it, and yeah, my mouth burned, but then little by little, the burn of my tongue and the roof of my mouth kind of subsided, and then we were able to both laugh at the fact that I didn't want to eat the chicken wing or the hot wing before that. And so being even close in proximity with another man, a strong man that can just kind of be like, hey man, it's fine, you're fine, get over it, there's nothing wrong with you, right? Helping you become tougher. That literally can help strengthen you, just being close in proximity with another man in that way, right? Your dad, your uncle, a mentor. This is the purpose. This is the reason why it's so important to find a mentor to be able to strive to be more like. And so I remember that story like it was yesterday, and it was something that it was imprinted on me for forever. It's still tattooed in my mind still this day. Obviously important enough for me to share the story with you guys. And I want you guys to take this away from the episode. I want you guys to understand that it's not too late. It's not too late to talk to your sons and have this conversation. Because you might be thinking, well, that's awesome that you had that experience with your dad when you were a little kid, but it's been years since me and my son have really had that kind of connection or had that kind of moment that we could, look back on and laugh and be like, wow, I'm so glad that happened. Like, it's been a long time. My kid is, in his 30s now. We don't talk. We don't connect. It's never too late, man. It's never too late. My dad got arrested when I was 10 months old, and he just came back in 2020, right before, like literally a month before the pandemic hit, and I was 24 years old. And so literally being gone and separated from him for almost 24 years, and we still were able to rekindle our relationship and have a conversation about forgiveness and do whatever the necessary steps were to mend our relationship and fix that bond, and now become best friends where we talk on the phone all the time. The same can be for you if you actually let go of your pride and your ego, or stop beating yourself up and talking about the mistakes that you made years ago. You can't take the past back. You can't change what you did, but you can fix how you move forward and how you kind of navigate this new stage in life. And I can guarantee that your son is probably waiting for that phone call. He might seem like he's hard, he's tough, he doesn't want to talk to you. I don't mess with my dad, whatever. It's all talk, dude. And I say that with experience because I used to say the same thing. When people would ask me how I felt about my dad not being there, I would always tell them, oh, it's no big deal, it's whatever, right? Yet, when I would think about different stories about missing him, it would make me cry. It doesn't add up. How can you not care about something but still get emotional about it? Whether that's being sad or very angry about it, that's also an emotion that shows that you actually care. And so anyways, I'd encourage you guys, if you're watching this video, if you have a certain experience like that with somebody, it doesn't even have to just be your father and son. It could be an uncle. It could be maybe a single mom's watching this, and she has to fix some things where she's holding on to like some baggage or something like that. We got to do a better job at reaching out to each other and just kind of making these attempts to heal and mend relationships and kind of, like I said, make our wrongs right. So anyways, that's the message for the day, guys. I hope you got some value from it. If you did, do us a huge favor and help us continue to get this message out and share it via liking the video, dropping a comment if you have a thought or opinion. If you disagree with me, it's all welcomed. We appreciate it all. It's all for the greater good and building on this massive conversation, important, necessary conversation. And so we appreciate it. Take care. We'll see you next time.